We cover the biggest topics of our time on today's News Talk, TNT Radio.
It is TNT Radio. Thank you so much for your time. We're getting to Alex Zaharoff-Reutt now, who, of course, is from techadvice.live, because it is Cyber Wednesday, the time when you get to hear about all the latest products, all the latest devices, the updates that are coming your way, and things that are assisting your technological world or not assisting your technological world. Let's say hello to Alex firstly. Alex Zaharoff-Reutt, welcome back.
Really great to be here and to join you again.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, we've got a very special segment today because you have found for us the CEO of ZapBatt, Charlie Welsh. Let's introduce him to the program. Charlie, welcome to TNT.
Great. Thanks. Great for having me. Excited to be here. And Alex, thanks for having me again.
Here.
It's been great to keep up with you over these years.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, Alex, just explain for our listeners and our viewers right now why it's important to have Charlie on the program now. We're breaking new ground, aren't we?
Absolutely. Look, we're going to learn a bit more about it from Charlie in just a moment, but he's created a battery that can recharge in 20 minutes. It's got 15 to 20,000 charge cycles, so it's like at least 10 times the lifespan of the number of charges you can do with your battery. Normally, your battery in your phone is 500 to 1,500 charge cycles and then it dies. And this battery is almost indestructible. So we'll hear the rest from Charlie.
Yeah. Okay, let's start, Charlie. We've all heard the stories, the horror stories about lithium-ion batteries catching fire. They do so on e-scooters. They do so in cars. They're extremely hard to put out. Along with hours-long recharging times, depending on the cycles you have or the size of your battery, it can be a pain in the butt and simply and utterly impractical. So how have you turned that around?
Yeah, great question. And, this story is actually quite a bit different from other ones in the battery space where, my previous background was building battery systems for the military here in the US for a whole variety of applications, aerospace, underwater, you name it. And what we've done is build this software that allows this battery that has been invented almost 30 years ago called lithium titanate or lithium titanium oxide, originally developed for the Navy, to basically be completely available across the market now. As Alex said, it's faster, it's safer, and the most important thing is that it's proven. And so in partnership with Toshiba, what we've built is this battery operating system so that the process of adopting this amazing technology is extremely easy now. Because historically, adopting any new battery technology is just a broken process. It can be years, everybody has to redesign their products for it, and it can be extremely expensive. And so what we've built is this operating system that allows this amazing chemistry that Toshiba has made and has been using in DoD and infrastructure applications for the last 20 to 30 years to now apply to anything. E-bikes, consumer products, agriculture products, things to power your home, anything in between. And the process of adopting it be really seamless and easy. And I was just catching with Alex earlier. I'm actually delivering one of these as we speak right now for an e-bike application for a customer, where they're now going from their standard e-bike battery to one that can charge in under 20 minutes. It'll last 10 times as long, and it won't catch fire, which is a huge benefit for them. Alex? And so instead of inventing this miracle battery, we're trying to accelerate the adoption of this better technology that's been out there for quite a while.
So with the battery operating system, what that really means is that companies don't have to re-engineer their entire product range to suit a new type of battery. They can simply use your batteries and plug and play, basically. There's nothing for them to do.
Exactly, spot on. So instead of going to a company and saying, hey, let's take in the next couple of years to redesign everything in the hopes that you love what this battery can do, we can now say, don't change a single thing. Just tell us if you want faster charging, longer lifespan, and it to be completely plug and play.
So I guess the next question is, how soon will we see this in our power tools, in cars, in e-scooters? I mean, I want to see it in my phone. I want to see it in my computer. I've got a Signet battery pack, 27,000 milliamp hours, and I've had it for a couple of years. And actually, I had it replaced under warranty once already. It no longer has enough power to charge my laptop. It just instantly dies. It's got enough power to charge my phone, but I wish I could have that battery lasting 10, 20, 30 years. I wish it was powered by your tech.
Absolutely. You're going to start to see it everywhere. And more importantly, you can actually go on our website and order samples for a whole variety of different products right now. The goal is that to put this in full mass scale production by the end of the year. in everything from agriculture products to mobility products and kind of everything in between. And from what we've seen, as you said, the appetite for something that is capable of this, but not only has been doing it for the last 20 years, is insurmountable. Companies have been reaching out to us every day asking if this can apply to their product, which we say absolutely. So beginning of next year, you're going to start to see it everywhere.
So
what
that's
does it
interesting,
cost?
because
Sorry,
as soon as I heard about this, I thought, gee, if you can commercialize this, you can apply it to power tools, you can apply it to computers, cars, e-scooters, phones, and therefore the question is, if you've got that good a battery technology in a phone, can you therefore transfer that battery onto your newer phone?
You could. So we're not focusing on those markets right now because they're very expensive to integrate into. We're actually starting with markets like power tools, like things like that, where we can be in market in a fraction of the time. But you're absolutely right. Like we're actually working on products where the battery is going to outlast the product itself. And like I actually have a leaf blower battery sitting next to me right now that we brought for this demonstration that will fully charge in about 9 minutes compared to the current couple hours it takes to charge. But and again, we like to say this over and over just to repeat it, but this technology has been out there for quite a while. It is, the military has used it in a whole variety of applications. The key of this operating system is that we wanted to make it accessible and kind of democratize access to a better battery technology that people can adopt quickly. Instead of this huge promise that is possibly a decade away, we want to put better battery technology in people's hands quickly.
Alex?
Now, because it's been used by the military. I mean, they used it because it didn't explode when the battery got damaged. And in fact, we've seen those buses that have the so-called solid state batteries where they've been catching fire on top. And so you've basically got the benefits of these solid state batteries, which don't have the liquids that can touch each other and explode. I mean, you've basically got those benefits now. But so happy for you to comment on that. But the other big question, of course, is how much does this technology cost? Is it going to be more expensive? And how quickly, if it is more expensive, how quickly will the prices come down?
Yeah, on the first point, correct. Safety, we think, is going to become one of the most important topics. And when it comes to safety, it's all about track record, and it's not about claims. And Toshiba has one of the best track records on the planet when it comes to safety. I mean, we've done almost everything to try and catch these batteries on fire to little success, or I should say, to much success of them not going into thermal runaway due to their lack of carbon, and we can go down that rabbit hole. But it will be slightly more expensive. In most cases, we're looking to be about 1.5 to twice the price. Granted, you're getting 10 plus times the lifespan of most products, so the amortization of the cost over time is quite a bit lower, but upfront it is slightly more expensive.
So, Charlie, I want to ask you just one last question, just in terms of why we haven't heard of or seen similar projects like yours on the market. Why haven't people taken or got access to this military grade lithium product and done what you're doing?
Yeah, two-part. I'd say one is, my background is very unique. I've worked with dozens of chemistries like this that have been overlooked over time just because they were very expensive and very difficult to work with. Lithium titanate is the perfect example of a technology that is truly better, but the barrier to entry for a lot of markets just became too high. And then the other side is building this true operating system was no small feat. What we've been demoing for companies is mind-blowing for them. It's a complete breakthrough, in all honesty, where I can so we did this demo actually for Toshiba, where we took one of their batteries and we turned it into a whole variety of products that were completely different voltages, all live. So we said, we're going to take your great chemistry and it's going to become a power tool battery, an e-bike battery, and all these things in front of you. And the operating system is going to allow the battery to turn into these different products so we can approach these markets successfully. And that was not easy to complete. Those kind of operating systems in the battery space have never existed. And we think that allowing that flexibility for these types of technologies is kind of the key, is giving customers access to not worry about the battery side, tell us how fast you want it to charge, what do you want it to do? And then after that, it's all about your product. And so that kind of twofold approach, I think, has been key to solve this.
Well, it sounds so exciting at the very least. And all you've got to do is tell Alex and I when you're floating so we can purchase some shares and we'll be fine.
Absolutely.
Charlie, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Likewise. Thanks all for having me.
All right. The
Bye-bye.
founder and CEO of ZapBatt, that's Z or Z, APBATT, Charlie Welsh. Alex, at the very least, what an exciting concept.
Yes, and look, I mean, I can see Charlie's still there, but he was talking in one of his videos about how Toshiba has one of these batteries in a robot from about 30 years ago. They haven't had to replace that battery yet. It's still working to this
Wow.
day. And that is just revolutionary because the batteries in our devices die. They start expanding. I mean, the ACCC's recalled batteries from LG for the home. They've been telling, don't leave the batteries charged in your phones or in your e-scooters. And we're hearing about it all the time. Cars catching fire, e-scooters catching fire, phones catching fire in people's pockets. I mean, obviously it's the phone side of things is much rarer, but the e-scooter things, it's becoming a crisis. And, as Neuromancer's author William Gibson said, the future has already been invented. It just hasn't been widely distributed yet. Here's a wonderful example of the future. We can see it. It's coming. And within the year, we're going to have them in stores and you'll be going to Bunnings and wherever else to buy them.
Yeah, quite amazing. Got to take a break. We're going to come back and talk about some of your general topics this week, some of the latest and greatest in tech and cyber. We'll do so after a quick break with Alex Zaharoff-Reutt from TechAdvice.live. And, of course, a colleague here at TNT on his Saturday night program. This is TNT.
When a crisis hits, close to home and across the globe, nonprofits are on the front lines, ready to serve.
Keep going.
The demand for charitable services has skyrocketed, and nonprofits are rising to meet the needs. Healing, nurturing, rescuing, honoring, protecting, caring, inspiring. The work of philanthropic organizations of all sizes, across all missions, has never been more important. And it's donors and volunteers like you who make all this possible. Thank you. Together, we change the world. The Nonprofit Alliance.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
You're listening to Chris Smith on today's News Talk Radio, TNT.
Well, Alex, plenty more to talk about in the world of technology. Let's start with Hisense. Now, Hisense also launches some new TVs. Tell us about these. They've got a monster-sized television, have they?
Yeah, well, both Samsung and LG have announced 98-inch size TVs. When that's compared against a 75, I mean, it is much bigger. But Hisense has announced the 100-inch TV, and they're also bringing a 110-inch model coming later this year. You're going to need a house or a room big enough.
Well, listen, I've got an 85-inch television, and people laugh when they come over to my place thinking, that is as big as a football field. What do you think you're doing? And it is massive. Like, I look at it and I have to move my head to watch everything. It's massive, 85-inch. But to think that you'd watch a 110-inch model is amazing.
Absolutely. And look, all of these new TVs, at least the ones from Hisense, they're IMAX certified. So they're designed to give you the best pictures. They actually have a new remote control. I mean, Samsung had a remote control, but the panel was on the back, so you had to sort of turn the remote control upside down. This one's got the solar panel on the front, which is much more convenient. You charge it via USB-C as well, because it won't always get everything it needs from the lights in your house, and you won't necessarily have it in the sun. But no need to change AA or AAA batteries anymore. And Hisense launched their TVs on the same day as Samsung launched their TVs, and of course LG launched them a couple of weeks ago as well, which we spoke about. So there's going to be plenty of competition in all your Best Buys and Harvey Normans and JB Hi-Fi's and Boots, all the different stores that sell these TVs. You're going to have great competition. And all of last year's TVs, I hear ads on the radio that they're clearing them out, so you can get some great bargains on last year's TVs, which are still fantastic in their own right.
Yeah, we've reached a stage, have we not, Alex, just in terms of televisions? And I have this discussion with lots of people, especially when they come over and see my 85-inch television. We have these discussions about televisions have got to the stage now where they do absolutely everything you need them to do. They're so smart, it's not funny. They give you everything that we, listen to on radio or we listen to on the internet or, the TNTs of the world. There are people who will send me photos of watching TNT on their massive television screens, which is great. But have we reached the stage where enough's enough? Like, how much more can a television be?
Well, the funny thing is, funny you mention that, because no, we haven't. I mean, the TV makers are always coming up with new ways. And look, you can upgrade an older TV with an Amazon Fire Stick, a Google Chromecast with TV, or an Apple TV device to get all the latest catch-up TV, to have YouTube so you can watch TNT Live, Radio.live on your television. But the thing is, Samsung's new TVs, and both Samsung and LG were very strong on talking about AI. Well, on the latest Samsung TV, the new AI technology, when the ball is, spinning across the field, it's using AI to make that motion super smooth. So often on TVs, you'll see this jerkiness as the ball is going across. So that's one area. So for sports, and we've got the Olympics coming up, there's always a big push to buy new TVs during the Olympics. You've got these new 8K televisions from Samsung that upscale older, regular TV or DVDs or, 4K television to even sharper levels. And again, they're doing that through AI. Another great thing is this Voice Booster Pro. If you've ever watched a movie and there's just too much outside noise or the music's too loud, this is specifically boosting the spoken dialogue. I mean, a lot of people put on the subtitles because they want to be able to hear what's being or understand what's being said. So this is another feature, and you can buy soundbars that will do this, but this is built into the television. Another thing is people buy soundbars and then they have to mute the TV because often the soundbar and the TV are a different brand.
Yes.
And then the sound coming from the TV and the soundbar is like a millisecond apart.
Correct.
Well, which is very annoying. And look, you do have a soundbar, so you do hear the sound from the soundbar, but what if you could have the sound from the TV and the soundbar working together to give you even better sound? Well, that's what Samsung soundbars and new TVs do. It's like having an extra speaker in your multi-speaker setup, right? And that just makes sense. And then we have this thing called a music frame, which is looks like a 12-inch vinyl record. It's about this thick. It's about the thickness of about an inch and a bit, but it's a speaker, and you can put multiple versions of this around the TV with artwork in different parts of the house. It's a bit like that Sonos where you can have the same music playing in different rooms or different music playing, and it doesn't look like a giant speaker. So there's lots of reasons why. I mean, you don't have to upgrade your TV every year, even every 5 or 6 years, but there does come a time when you want a bigger screen and you're going to get better quality colors, sharper imagery, smoother motion, and the TV makers are always doing what they can to make the apps snappier and faster, to make everything smoother, and to want to charge you several $1,000s for a new TV.
Yeah. All right. Home security maker Swann has just launched its new AI Drive Home Shield technology.
Yes. Now imagine, okay, so people know that you can get those Ring doorbells and that, from different companies. Arlo has them, and you push the doorbell and you're not home, you're at work, and the phone rings and you can see who's there at the door.
I do this all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're on air, Chris, and someone rings you right now and your wife and kids are not around, you're not going to be able to answer, right? You're busy in a meeting. So what this does is it uses generative AI to speak to the person and tell them, hey, Chris is upstairs, he's busy. Look, just leave the package by the door. And it's having a conversation, and it's generating that conversation based on stuff that you've told it, but also based on its own intelligence. And it's using Amazon's cloud services, and Amazon has invested $4 billion into a company called Anthropic. They are a competitor to OpenAI's ChatGPT. I mean, Microsoft invested $10 billion there. And so they have this system where it sounds like you're speaking to somebody, whether it's in an Australian accent or an American accent, whatever the accent that you want, and they're having a conversation. And, I've got this demo on my website, which was from CES. It wasn't me that filmed it. And there is a delay between the Australian person speaking to the doorbell and the response, because it was a demo system and there was 200,000 people in CES and all the phone networks were clogged. But, someone said, oh, your house is on fire. And the guy says, oh, well, the computer says, well, can you please tell the neighbors and call the fire brigade because I'm not there. Yeah. And it's like, oh, can you please leave this? I've got a package for you. Well, can you just leave it by the front door? I'm not able to come to the door right now, but I'll be down in a few minutes. Or someone's trying to sell you something, and so the doorbell is saying, look, I'm not interested in your whatever you're selling. So,
nick off.
Nick off sort of thing. So it makes it look as though you're home, and it's your home robot in your doorbell that's doing the talking for you. Yeah,
AI Drive Home Shield by Swann with a double N. And finally, I've only got 2 minutes left. Google launches Find My Device. There's a bit of copycatting going on here.
Yes. Well, Apple has had this for several years now. And if you've lost your phone and you can't find it, what happens is that all the other iPhones in the area can ping your device and know where all the devices are. So Google has launched this in the US. It's come to the rest of the world a little bit later, but it's in the US and Canada from more or less this week onwards. You can locate offline devices. You can keep track of everyday items with compatible Bluetooth tags, and you've got that anti-tracking stuff we talked about last week as well. You can find nearby items. You can pinpoint devices at home if you have a Google Home Nest speaker, and you can also share accessories with friends and family. So it's a bit of a catch up with Apple. It'll work on any Android device with Android 9 and upward, so it'll be widely available, and it's a very handy feature. You can find stuff if you've lost it with great precision.
Yeah, I lose things all the time, so this is a great idea for me. Fantastic, and I'm a Samsung nut. Alex, fantastic. I've just run out of time, but thank you very much, and I was quite impressed with Charlie Welch, but what a wonderful product. The whole world will be looking at the progression of that company.
Absolutely. And I'm sure there'll be copycats out there, but these guys have really developed something first class, and I can't wait to buy products with it. I can't wait to have my battery for my computer lasting for years and years rather than a couple of years and it's dead.
Yes, exactly. Won't that be a change? Thank you, mate. Much appreciated. We'll be watching your program Saturday night. What time? Australian Standard
6
Time?
6 p.m. We're
6
back
p.m.
to 6 p.m. Dallas Time's over, and I've got all these stories and more at techadvice.live right now.
Fantastic. Thank you, mate. Much appreciated.
Bye-bye.
Good on you. There you go. That's Alex Zaharoff-Reutt. Very quickly for tomorrow, we've got the one and only Mr. Libertarian in New South Wales himself, John Ruddick. We'll also get David McBride on, and apparently he does want to answer Shane Healy's criticism of him over those charges. So we'll give David a fair chance to reply to Shane Healy as well, and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. We'll leave you in the capable hands of Sonia Poulton. Very busy day. We'll come up and tell you the results of that poll, that question that we asked about transgender puberty blockers and also surgery. Well, we've got some answers already, and we'll give you the full results at the beginning of the program. But make sure you're watching, all right? Make sure you're watching. We'll be able to tell you all about that. This is Chris Smith on TNT.
To hear a replay of this hour, go to episodes at TNTRadio.live. Now, TNT Radio News.
This is Jason Olborn in the newsroom with your hourly news update.